Hello and welcome to Literally. My name's Anthony Rosenberg, and today we're going to continue with our post on symbols. As I said in the last post, I found there was so much information that I couldn't do it in one post. So here is the second post on symbols. Today we'll be looking specifically at and, or also known as ampersand, and cedilla. Yeah. These are used in English. Both of these symbols are used in English. Obviously, ampersand is used every day. Cedilla not so much, but we'll have a look at how that's used. And of course, the less used tilde, pronounced with an at the end. Let's have a look at it. Ampersand first. So our ampersand symbol is believed to have come from the Latin et, yeah, which basically means and. So you will have seen it with etc, etc, right? So et, you might have seen it on books for authors, books that are made or written by multiple authors or organized by multiple organizers. So you'll see something like my last name, Tony Rosenberg, et al., and that means Tony Rosenberg and others and other contributors. It is believed that the ampersand symbol comes from the joining of the E and the T. Let's have a look at how that might look physically. So you'll see if you join the E and the T, there's a sort of a resemblance to the ampersand. Now this could go back to what I said in the previous post about the printing presses. So the printing presses needed to compact as much as they could because they needed to get more on the page, and they wanted to spend less time putting together all of the little letters to print it out, the old printing presses, right? So there's a belief that maybe that et became the ampersand through this joining of the letters, this evolution of printing presses to make things a little bit more abbreviated. There's also the fact that the ampersand was, believe it or not, the 27th letter of the English alphabet. Now the problem is that when you read this, so you do A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, and. So this double and became a little complicated. So what happened was, through the evolution of changing languages and things, people inserted per se in the middle. So it became X, Y, Z, and per se and. So it separated the two ands, the word and from the symbol and of course, because people speak fast, pronunciation, diacritical marks change over time, even though this is not really a diacritical mark, really, is it? It's more of a symbol. Okay, so through the evolution of pronunciation and language, we get and per se and per se and ampersand. Yeah, it became ampersand as the 27th letter, but it was removed as a letter because it is a symbol, right? It represents a word and not a letter. There's a national ampersand day because symbols need their own days, right? And ampersand got its own day only in the US for some reason. It's not an international day. It's a national ampersand day in the US on September 8th. So congratulations if you're watching this on National Ampersand Day. What a day. Let's move on to cedilla. That's how it's pronounced in English, cedilla. This really is a diacritical mark because it changes the pronunciation of the letter. Yeah? So the diacritical mark here changes the k to a s sound in English and in some other languages as well, like Spanish and Portuguese. So in Spanish it's called cedilla or cedilla. In French it's cedille. And in Portuguese, it's cedilla. So forgive me on my pronunciation of all those, but yeah, that's roughly it. You can see it's a Latin-based language, a symbol, sorry, and it's used in those languages. In English, it's used for facade. So facade meaning the front of a building. So you'll see there a picture of a red facade. Now, I've usually used it to talk about that particular section of the building, the higher upper part, but apparently it can be used for the entire front of a building. It's also used in limaçon. Now this was new to me. I'm a man of letters, so this is very hard for me to understand. Apparently the limaçon is a reference to a geometrical joining of something. So I'm guessing in the symbol that you have there, the image that you have there, it's somewhere between the O and the C, but I'm not really sure. As I said, I'm a man of letters, not of math. And cachaça, it's used for the white alcohol, clear alcohol that's produced in Brazil, much like champagne in France, where it is the name of the drink. The registered name, I should say. Cachaça is the registered name of this clear alcohol produced in Brazil. It's quite strong. I would refer to it as rocket fuel and possibly even moonshine. These are the four most popular brands in Brazil: 51, Sagatiba, Velho Barreiro, and Pitu. Now, a lot of people would say that these are over-industrialized and probably of poor quality. Some people would say they're great for making the famous caipirinha, which is the Brazilian cocktail. There are some more artisanal productions of cachaça, referred to often as pinga, but I'll leave that for another post because that deserves its own post. Cedilla is used in over 20 languages, and I can't remember them all, but you can see here used in slightly different ways. So I believe in Russian it's used under the S. I don't know how that changes the pronunciation because my Russian is a bit rusty. You'll see that in other languages the cedilla is used over the letter, as in G. And if you're reading some of these languages, it might be confusing to English speakers or people who are accustomed to reading in English when you see M and O with the cedilla kind of beside the letter. I know that sometimes they're used under these letters, but they're also used beside the letter. Now that may change the diacritical concept of it, where the pronunciation might change if the cedilla is under the letter or beside it. But that could be confusing because it kind of looks like a comma. It looks like M, comma, O, comma. But these languages, they're different languages to English and the Latin languages. Traditionally, they're more Middle Eastern languages. So you'll see those kinds of uses of cedilla. Let's move on to tilde. Tilde, I always want to say it comes from Matilda, but it doesn't. All right, so tilde is known in Spanish also as the virgulilla and ñ, and in Portuguese it's known as the tio. And the pronunciation there is quite hard. Tio. It almost sounds like uncle in Portuguese. Tio. Yeah. So those are the words that they're used in Spanish and Portuguese to refer to this symbol. In English, it's tilde. You'll see it quite often in Spanish. It's most commonly used in Spanish above the N, and so you see TED en español. So it changes the N to a N sound, kind of like an NH or a NHG, a soft G maybe in English. I thought this was hilarious because CNN in Spanish doesn't always come with this symbol, but I found this and I thought that's amazing because they put the tilde over the two N's. So I thought that was quite fun. The National Basketball Association in Spain does not officially use this symbol, but it seems that their fans post this quite a lot around the internet, and they'll put a tilde over the N for the National Basketball Association, only in Spain, but the actual association doesn't use it on its advertising or its merchandise. In English, it is used, not so frequently, but sometimes to show approximately. So you might say something like, oh, you should arrive approximately 30 minutes before, or around about, close to, something like that. So it is used in that respect. It's on our keyboard, on our computers or typewriters, if you still use a typewriter, but we don't really use it that often. This was about the only reason that I could find in English that we would use the tilde. It is used in the programming world, the high-tech hard developers, or software developers, I should say, and it's used as a double tilde or a tilde over the equal sign to show approximately equal to. So it has that use, but these are probably the only two uses that I found in English at the moment. It is used in over 20 languages. As I said, it is a diacritical mark and it changes the pronunciation of the word from N to ñ, yeah, in Spanish. In Portuguese, it's used a little bit differently. We'll see now. So in Spanish, it's español, that ñ sound. In Portuguese, they use it over a when it comes before an o, so ao. This is a diphthong, which is a joining of sounds. So instead of saying mau, that word would be read mão. There's a real a nasal kind of sound creeping into the ao diphthong there. And the same in the plural use of this structure, razão, which would be similar to mão, razão. The plural would be razões. So the O and the E, that diphthong, suffers a pronunciation change, becoming much more nasal. So razões rather than razões. Razões. It's quite hard for English speakers to pick up this. I had a lot of classes in Portuguese to be able to pronounce that. A lot of classes. I had my own classes, which was learning to pronounce the word. And I actually used to hold my nose and I'd say mão, razões. Yeah. So it was quite a lot of work to get that sound into my normal vocabulary. Not easy. So if you are speaking Espanol to a friend about a facade and drinking cachaça, be careful not to swap your cedillas and your tildes. They are not the same. All right, that's been our production for today. I'm Tony Rosenberg, or Anthony if you want to call me that, but only my mother calls me that. See you next time.